really can't believe we got here already. 300 subs is a pretty big number for this channel, so I decided I should do a special and talk about my top 10 favorite anime and manga series. I'd like to say thanks as well to everyone who has subscribed and helped me reach this goal. Also, thanks for the support in the comments and liking the videos. I'll just say this before we get into the video, which is that this list is made due to my personal enjoyment and experience of each series and not really on how objectively good they are. Just thought I had to put that out there because you always know there's gonna be one of those people who gets mad at you for putting one series over another. But even if they do show up, forget them. They're probably a random elitist. This list will also be spoiler free, so don't be worried about getting spoiled. I'll also try to recommend these series so you can go check them out if you haven't. Now before I get into the video, subscribe if you're new, hit the like button and turn on bell notifications. So without further ado, let's get into the top 10. So before I get into this actual list, I'm gonna try to say some series that I also really like but couldn't make it into the list. They're also in my top 20 as well. Some of them are Death Note, Code Geass, Chainsaw Man, Bleach, and one that was really close to making it into the list, which is Full Metal Alchemist. I'm gonna rewatch it since I haven't watched it for a long time, and I think the rewatch would be a much better experience. I just prefer some other series above them due to personal preference, but if you think otherwise, it's alright since we all have different opinions. Now time to get into the real list. At number 10, we have Tokyo Ghoul / Tokyo Ghoul Re. And of course, I mean the manga. I don't have to explain why because I'm sure a lot of you already know the reason and have heard it a lot of times. Tokyo Ghoul is very interesting. It's a series that centers around the protagonist Ken Kaneki, who goes through different troubles that usually change his personality and of course his hair color. He finds himself wrapped up into the ghoul world, trying to adapt and change over time to actually fit in it, whilst trying to keep that last bit of humanity with him. Kaneki honestly is one of my favorite protagonists in all of manga, and the development and change he goes through is really a sight to see. Oh, and the art is amazing. Ishida the mangaka never misses with the greatness they put down on the pages. The characters are really enjoyable, especially the antagonist in Ri, who I won't say as that would be a fairly big spoiler, but do yourself a favor and go witness this if you haven't. The only downsides I can say that Tokyo Ghoul has is the ending and that there are a lot of characters and you can't really keep track with all of them, so it would be quite awkward if they reappear with a more important role and you don't care about them. Now, on to the next number. So in number 9, I have Naruto. I'm going to say both of the Naruto series and not Boruto of course. I really don't like Boruto. But Naruto as a series was the first anime I had witnessed and it has been very special to me, so I have to have it on this list. The characters, the fights, the music and the villains are really good, excluding a certain someone who came at the end of Shippuden. The rivalry with Naruto and Sasuke was always interesting as they both were so similar yet so different as well. The ideals of different characters were appealing and the way they were executed was great to see. The only downsides I have for this series would be the majority of the side characters being irrelevant for most of the time and how Naruto was at the start of Shippuden. The themes and messages it was trying to give out was pretty well put and Kishimoto really knew how to present it through different views. I really loved that aspect and it was a pretty inspirational show as well, which I'm sure inspired some other series and also people as well. Now on to the next one in this list. At number 8 we have Hunter x Hunter. This anime / manga is amazing. I'd say from start to finish, but sadly it's still on a hiatus like many of you know. Each arc is unique and gives us a whole different experience than the last one. We have our main characters trying to stop thieves, then we have them going into a game, and then next we have them going up against ants that look like deformed creatures. The creativity Togashi is able to portray is insane, and he honestly is one of my favorite mangakas, as he also had another great series by the name of Yu Yu Hakusho, which I'm currently watching, and I can see the Togashi greatness being put into that work as well. Gon, Killua, Kurapika, and Leorio are great main characters and they are some of my favorite characters in anime and manga. Hunter x Hunter also has great antagonists, with them being Meruem, Poof, Crawler, and Hisoka. I'm not going to talk about Gentaro though, forget about that guy. It also has great OSTs, some supporting characters that manage to be interesting, and as a whole gives us a thrilling experience of adventure. The fights are unique as well, displaying a very interesting power system that Togashi had thought out and not just thrown it onto the page. I really love this series, but the next ones after this one are even better in my opinion, of course. Gotta say that before some toxic Hunter x Hunter fans begin raging onto their keyboards. So number 7 on this list is Vinland Saga. Man, Vinland Saga is amazing. If you guys have watched my past video on Vinland Saga, you would know that I really love this series, and it's really been great from chapter 1. Vinland Saga is a story of growth. We follow the protagonist Thorfinn on his journey of revenge and redemption. Yukimura never misses when he writes it all down. The themes that are in this story are well presented, and the way the Vikings do their insane actions are shown in a realistic manner. The characters are insane as well. Canute, who continues to develop and craft his ideals. Thorkel, who shows how true Vikings act in a world of war and violence. Thors, who was able to counteract that system. And of course Askeladd, who is no doubt one of the greatest characters in anime and manga. Askeladd is mysterious, cunning, vicious, and surprises the viewer each time with his insane directions and decisions he is shown to do. He's a well-written antagonist, and since we are actually seeing his view of things for the majority of the story, it makes it even better. So now on to the next one in this list. In number 6, we have 20th Century Boys. I love this manga so much. It's one of Urasawa's greatest works, and I'm sure you will see another Urasawa work in this list later on. But right now, we're gonna talk about one of the greatest mystery thrillers in manga. 20th Century Boys is about a group of friends who had planned and drawn ideas or dreams they would want or could happen in the future. They all did this in a book called the Book of Prophecy and would later forget about it when they eventually grew up. But in the present time, the ideas they had made in that book begin to become a reality, and not for the good, but for the worst. The group of friends have to find out who is doing all of this, but the one person that they're able to find out who operates all of this is a guy in a mask named Friend. Friend is a very compelling antagonist. He always gives us clues on who he could be, but we're still not 100% sure of who the person under the mask is. The cast of characters in this manga all have interesting storylines and all get some time to shine, making us grow very attached to them. Kenji as a protagonist is very enjoyable, and the way he keeps trying to push on to beat Friend despite him being very normal is amazing, as it shows us a very human character going up against this unknown entity to kind of save the world. All in all, this manga has an amazing storyline that always keeps the reader on the edge of their seat. Also, as soon as you finish 20th Century Boys, read 21st Century Boys, as it clears up the ending. It's only 16 chapters, and of course it's canon to the story. Now at number 5 we have One Piece. One Piece is one of the most enjoyable journeys I've read. The amount of world building, mysteries, and themes that is put into this story is amazing. The cast of characters are great and written very well, specifically the Straw Hat crew. It really feels like you're a part of the crew as you follow them on their journeys across the world and visiting different and unique islands. One of the best things that I love about One Piece are the backstories. The backstories are incredible and it never feels like a generic sad one. My personal favorites would be Law's, Brooks, Sanji's, and Oden's backstories. I love how well written they are, and Oda truly knows how to pull off backstories at the greatest extent. Luffy is one of my favorite protagonists, and he really surprised me when I first got into One Piece. At first I was expecting a generic happy-go-lucky type of main character, but thankfully I was wrong about Luffy, as his love of freedom and his strong will are great. I think if Luffy does become the Pirate King, then he wouldn't just think it's the end, but think that he is actually the most freest person alive. Luffy is just generally a really enjoyable character, and if you don't like him, you have my truest condolences. Now on to the next spot. At number 4 we have Urasawa's greatest work, Monster. Like I said in my Monster video, this story is a masterpiece. Check out the video if you're interested in what the plot is, because right now I'm gonna say why I love Monster. Monster is consistently amazing from chapter 1 to the end. The two forces and ideals of the protagonist and antagonist are written so well. The many different side characters that are able to have important roles and shine without becoming irrelevant is great, and the overall mystery that is shown is thought out very nicely. The way one thing from an earlier chapter ties back perfectly to another thing in a later chapter works greatly, and Urasawa really knows how to craft his plot. All in all, Monster is a thrilling story that knows how to pull fans of mystery mangas in. Now in number 3 we have Berserk. I love Berserk so much. There's just so many good things about it and really any bad stuff. Except the amount of you know what. but Berserk is a story that is able to show the horrors of a reality that it is in, whilst a story of pushing through that reality and not giving into the darkness that is shown in this great manga. Guts and Griffith, two characters who both have very interesting ideas. One of them sadly lost one and the other one gained one. I'm not going to spoil, of course, but Berserk is tragic in many ways, and Miura doesn't hold back when writing on this. Those two characters I said before are some of my favorite characters in manga, and Griffith is also my favorite antagonist in all of manga. He's just phenomenal. Guts is as well, as in this manga we are shown his journey of revenge, development and friendship. He's able to not give in to the reality that is Berserk and find something else that is for the better. It's an unforgettable story with unforgettable characters that you will come to love and even hate. Now onto my top 2. So these next two are both easily my favorite works in anime and manga. I love them both equally and I just listed them as 1 and 2 because I just love one a little bit more. It's not clear though. So in the number 2 spot I have Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is one of the most popular and highly rated anime and manga at the moment, and it deserves all of the praise it has been getting. Its interesting yet tragic storyline is able to pull many different people in, even if they aren't fans of anime or manga. Believe me, I've seen it happen. The characters such as Erwin, Levi, Reiner, and Zeke are some of the most greatest written people in both anime and manga, and their roles in this story are well fit. But of course, the protagonist and the best character in this series in my opinion is my favorite main character, and Eren's ideals, growth, and strong will is amazing. Eren Yeager is a protagonist that will go down as one of the greatest once Attack on Titan is over, and I wouldn't even be surprised. The music is another high factor for this anime, as it has my favorite OSTs in there as well. Attack on Titan will always be in this high place. The same goes for my top 1, as I love them both equally. So in my number 1 spot, I have something that I've loved from the very first episode and has always loved to its current chapter. At number 1, I have Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. Oh no, here comes the elitist. But yeah, Jojo is my favorite anime and manga right next to Attack on Titan. I think I've liked everything from this anime and manga, from the characters, the creative plot, the power system, and of course the music. Everything is just so great to me. The way Araki is able to craft very different parts and connect them into place in the same timeline is just so amazing. The art is unique and very clean, especially in parts 8 and 7, which shows peak Araki. I'd say I love all of the Jojo parts, just part 1 being kind of my least enjoyed one, but I still love the Dio in it. The different main characters and antagonists are some of my favorites, with Johnny being the best Joestar and Kira being my favorite Jojo antagonist. Look, I loved Funny Valentine, he's my second favorite antagonist. I just enjoyed Kira a lot more. In general, my favorite characters would be the GOAT Gyro Zeppeli, Johnny, Kira, Joseph, Polnareff, Josuke, and Rohan. There's a lot more that I love, but those are just some of my main favorites. The bizarre and creative ideas that go into JoJo's are something that haven't been in many different anime and manga, making it one of the most unique ones, which really appeals to me. It's an anime and manga that you will never forget. I think I'm going to leave the video off there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm really happy I managed to make it to this goal, and I'm excited to try and make it to 500 subs. I'll probably do another special then if I do make it there. Thanks again for all the support, I highly appreciate it. And like always, subscribe if you're new, hit the like button and turn on bell notifications. It's been Endless Requiem, peace.